Okay, dear students, now we shall obtain the expression for what is called as centripetal acceleration. ಕೇಂದ್ರಾಭಿಮುಖ ವೇಗೋತ್ಕರ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತವೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಡಿರೈವೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಆರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಪಿಟಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ಡ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸರ್ಕಲ್. ಇದನ್ನು ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದೇನೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಆರ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಆರ್ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟಫ್ ಇದೆ, ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಆಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಈ ಡಿರೈವೇಶನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಸಬ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಅದರಿಂದ ಬರುವ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಏನು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಈ ಡಿರೈವೇಶನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿತದೆ. Derivation of the expression for centripetal acceleration. So what we shall do is, let us consider a particle in uniform circular motion with a constant speed v. ವೇವ್ ಜವದಲ್ಲಿ ಚಲಿಸತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕಣವನ್ನು ಏಕರೂಪ ಚಕ್ರೀಯ ಚಲನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಚಲಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಣವನ್ನು ಪರಿಗಣಿಸೋಣ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ತೋರಿಸಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ಅಟ್ ಟಿ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 0 ಅಥವಾ ಟಿ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು T1 ಹೇಗೂ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ದ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಟಿ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು T1 ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ. ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ, ಅದರ ವೇಗದ ದಿಕ್ಕು ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟ್ಯಾಂಜೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟ್ಯಾಂಜೆಂಟ್. That is the initial velocity. ಇದು ಆರಂಭಿಕ ವೇಗ. So the radius vector connecting it to the particle is this way. This is initial velocity vector, initial position vector or initial radius vector at t is equal to T1. Little later, the particle after time delta t, say at t is equal to T2, so that the time elapsed is delta t, which is final time instant minus the initial time instant. The particle moves through this point. The direction of its velocity is again tangential to this. But you got to be aware that the length of the vector here and length of the vector here must be same, because we know you are considering a particle under uniform circular motion. So its position vector when it passes through that point is this one. This is called final position vector R2. Alright. So the angle rotated in this time, let us call this delta theta or theta, does not matter. And we will also denote the initial position as A, final position as B, and the center as O. So what we will be doing is that we will find the direction of initial, and we will join this initial vector to final vector in common tail arrangement without changing either the direction or magnitude, either the length of it or the orientation of it. And we will redraw both of them anywhere you like. I will write it here. Be careful, you have to reproduce this in the same direction here. That's a bit difficult, but you got to do that. So that is the direction of initial velocity. V1. Now you can also reproduce this by drawing a parallel vector here. This is the final velocity vector V2. You have already seen change of velocity vector equals final velocity minus initial velocity, or final velocity vector V2 equals, if you bring this minus V1 to the other side, you get change in velocity plus V1. You know how to take vector sum of the two. If V2 is the vector sum of delta V and V1, then delta V and V1 must be joined in tip to tail arrangement in the triangle law. V2 must be the closing side That means the only way I can draw delta V should be this way. Convince yourself of this before we proceed. So notice V1 plus delta V equals V2. So let us call this O dash, A dash, B dash. You may also see, if you extend this and extend this as well, okay, notice O, A, B and D, O, A, B, D is a parallelogram, and these two are 90 degrees, these two are also at 90 degrees, 90 plus 90, 180. So we know the total interior angles of a quadrilateral is, oh, it's not a parallelogram, I stand corrected. It is a quadrilateral. The total interior angles in a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. So if this angle is delta theta, obviously this angle here is 180 degree minus delta theta. If this is 180 minus delta theta, notice that this whole thing is on 180 degrees. If this is 180 minus delta theta, this is delta theta. That means angle between V1 and V2 is same as angle between R1 and R2. So therefore this angle is also delta theta. Moreover, we know the following. We know this distance R1 and R2 both are equal to the radius. R1 modulus equals R2 modulus equals capital R. We also know it is in uniform circular motion, so V1 and V2 vectors also have the same modulus. V1 equals to V2 vector, that equals to speed V, and that is the speed V that appears in this expression here. Okay, now what shall we do? Only one thing. I shall do one more thing here which I hadn't told you before. We will join this A to B. What is this? This is initial position, this is the final position. Naturally, this is the displacement delta R. Delta R is the change of position or displacement vector. So now if you look closely, O, A, B, look at this triangle, O dash, A dash, B dash, another triangle. Aren't they congruous and similar triangles? Because this angle is delta theta, this angle is delta theta. These two sides are equal here, so these two sides are equal here. So this side and this side are analogous to each other. So they are not equal. This side is not equal to this side. All I am saying is the two triangles are similar triangles, and this fact will now be exploited. Okay, consider a particle in uniform circular motion with constant speed V. Let R be the radius of the circle. Let the particle pass through points A and B at time instants T1 and T2 respectively. Then in time delta T equals T2 minus T1, the change of velocity and displacement of the particle are what? Delta V here and delta R respectively. Delta V and delta R respectively. So, from similar triangles, what are the two similar triangles? O, A, B, O dash, A dash, B dash, O, A, B and O dash, A dash, B dash. We have, can I now write in this right angle triangle, Delta theta is same after all. Delta theta roughly, if you can think of, as this is the arc length, this is also arc length, this is the radius. So angle equals arc length divided by radius. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು, but that is not the correct way to do that. There are other ways of coming to this conclusion also. You have already learned that in high school geometry as well as in trigonometry. So all I can say is, in this right angle triangle, this side AB divided by OA or OB, both are equal, then that should be equal to A dash B dash divided by O dash A dash. We have AB divided by OA, AB divided by OA here should be equal to A dash B dash divided by O dash A dash. A dash B dash divided by O dash A dash. So what is that? AB is delta R. Don't write delta R vector. You have to write delta R magnitude or modulus. That implies delta R vector divided by OA. OA is R1 ಅಥವಾ R1 modulus. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬರಿಬಹುದು. That should be equal to AB ನೋಡಿ delta R modulus, OA ನೋಡಿ R1 modulus. A dash B dash is delta V vector modulus divided by O dash A dash, which is V1 modulus. What I'll do is, I'll keep this delta V on one side, shift everything else to the other side, and this is what it looks like. Delta V modulus, therefore, I'll write V1 modulus divided by R1 modulus times delta R modulus. Let us divide both the sides by delta t, because delta t is the time that is taken for the velocity to change by delta V and for the displacement to take place by delta R vector. So, rest of it I'll write here. So, dividing both the sides by delta t, we get delta V divided by delta t. Let me remind you, there must always be modulus sign. That should be equal to V1 modulus. V1 modulus we have already written as V. R1 modulus we have already written as R. So, we will avoid complications in the notations a bit. V by R. Now, this is delta R divided by delta t whole modulus. Let us take both the sides limit. What if I make this limit delta t smaller and smaller? What is delta t? Delta t is the time it has taken to go from A to B. If I make limit delta t tending to 0, point B will come closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to A. So therefore, delta theta also decreases, delta R also decreases, delta V also decreases, everything decreases as a result, but delta R by delta t remains a finite quantity. So let us consider the limit delta t tending to 0 on both the sides. Whether you keep it outside the modulus sign or inside, it does not matter. So I'll pull this limit delta t tending to 0 sign inside or command inside. So delta V divided by delta t equals V by R times limit delta t tending to 0 delta R by delta t. This chapter itself has taught you that limit delta t tending to 0 delta V vector by delta t is rate of change of velocity dV by dt. That is equal to V by R. Look at this. Limit delta t tending to 0 delta R vector by delta t, which is modulus of dr by dt. But you know, dV by dt, that is rate of change of velocity, which is nothing but acceleration. I'll write the rest here. I hope you can adjust with that. That dV by dt is acceleration magnitude. V by R, keep it as it is. Dr by dt, velocity, but there is a modulus sign. Magnitude of the velocity is nothing but speed. So I can write this V divided by R times V. So left hand side is simply A, whether you write A vector sign within the modulus sign or you simply skip them all. You get simply A magnitude, V times V, you get V square divided by R This is the proof. Hence the proof. Let us express the expression for or formula for centripetal acceleration in 2 or 3 different ways. Different mathematical forms of centripetal accelerations. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಎಸ್ ಎ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಆರ್. ಎ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ centripetal acceleration, V stands for constant speed, R stands for radius. Then the second one is, we know V is equal to R omega. A little while ago we derived it. V equals R omega. Let us substitute that in here. You get A equals V, which is R omega the whole squared divided by R, or this is like R square omega square divided by R. One R, another R cancels, so it gives you AR, or simply A equals omega squared R, where omega is the angular speed. Rest of it I have already given, what A stands for, R stands for, etc. So I don't want to write it again. Third one, since T equals 2 pi by omega, or omega equals 2 pi by capital T, I can replace this omega in terms of capital T. Then I get centripetal acceleration is omega 2 pi by capital T the whole squared times R. This 4 pi square divided by T square times R, where T is the period of revolution. Period of revolution. Last but not the least, you know the frequency is 1 by T. So 1 by T square we had here, 1 by T squared is F square. So therefore that gives you centripetal acceleration as 4 pi square. 1 by T squared is F square times R. So these are the 4 different ways. Either you express in terms of F, where F stands for frequency of revolution, and centripetal acceleration is 4 pi square R divided by T square, or centripetal acceleration is equal to square of the angular speed into radius, or the simplest form, the original form which we derived, A equals V squared by R. All the 4, including these, are very important set of formulae you have to by heart. Dear students, now let's look at 1 or 2 problems upon this. Very simple problems. Here we begin. The first one, determine the maximum constant speed of a race car, maximum speed a race car can have if the acceleration of the car cannot exceed 7.5 meter per second squared while rounding a track having the radius of curvature of 200 meter. ಒಂದು ಕಾರು ಸಮಾನ ಜವದಲ್ಲಿ ವಕ್ರತೆಯ ತ್ರಿಜ್ಯ 200 ಮೀಟರ್ ಇರುವ ವೃತ್ತಾಕಾರದ ರಸ್ತೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಚಲಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಅದರ ವೇಗೋತ್ಕರ್ಷ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ಡಿಗೆ 7.5 ಮೀಟರ್ನಷ್ಟು ಮೀರಬಾರದು ಎಂದಾದರೆ ಅದರ ಗರಿಷ್ಠ ವೇಗದ ಪ್ರಮಾಣವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಧರಿಸಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಬಹಳ ಸಿಂಪಲ್, ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ರೋಡ್ ಇದೆಯಂತೆ, ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ರೋಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಕಾರ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು. ಹೇಗೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಆಂಟಿ ಕ್ಲಾಕ್ ವೈಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ಲಾಕ್ ವೈಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಇದರ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು? The center of the circle may be here. This radius of curvature is 200 meter. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ maximum speed ಎಷ್ಟಿರಬೇಕು? ಇದರ acceleration ಎಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಮೀರಬಾರದು? So the maximum acceleration it can experience, which is centripetal acceleration, is 7.5 meter per second squared. If so, how much is Vmax? Given. Solution under that given. What is given? Centripetal acceleration itself is 7.5 meter per second squared. Then radius of curvature 200 meter. We have to find out what is the maximum speed, Vmax. To be able to do that, we will recall the formula. ಏನು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇದೆ? Centripetal acceleration is equal to V squared by R. V ಇದ್ದದ್ದನ್ನು Vmax ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಏನಾದರೂ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇದೆಯಾ? As a result, we can write Vmax square equals A times R, or Vmax equals square root of A times R. First ನೀವು ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ, ನಂತರ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. Therefore, Vmax equals square root of A 7.5 multiplied by 200. 200, 7.5s are 1500 in meter per second. Square root of 600 I'm sorry, is 40. So it should be close to 40, about 38 meter per second. Or I would rather write 36 meter per second just for the sake of easy conversion. In terms of kilometer per hour, this car has to move at 36 meter per second. But you will not get an idea how fast this velocity is unless we convert this into kilometers per hour. So easiest thing is multiply this 36 by 18 by 5. Oh, let it be 40 itself. I'm sorry. Let it be 40 itself. So that 5 ones are 5 8s are 18 fours are 72, 72 twos are 144 kilometers per hour. This is phenomenally large speed on Indian roads especially, and especially on a curved road like this, moving at this maximum speed 144 kilometer per hour is extremely dangerous. Whatever the case is, the driver experiences maximum acceleration, which is 7.5 meter per second square. The good thing is that this is not exceeding acceleration due to gravity. It is less than acceleration due to gravity. So to that extent, the driver is safe. So we are done with the problem. We get the maximum speed that he can drive with is approximately 40 meter per second. Since you are having your calculator, you can accomplish this calculation. With that, you can get the exact value. We shall now go to the next problem. Okay, a woman rides a Ferris wheel at radius 15 meter, completing 5 turns about its horizontal axis every minute. What are A, the period of the motion or period of revolution; B, the magnitude; and C, the direction of her centripetal acceleration at the highest point; and D, magnitude and direction of her centripetal acceleration at the lowest point. During any city fair, there would be a huge giant wheel, and that is what this woman is riding on. So this woman here okay, now everyone is going anti-clockwise, let us say anti-clockwise. As this is turning, they're all going anti-clockwise like this. So woman rides a Ferris wheel, as I have shown, of radius, large radius 15 meter, R equals 15 meter. And how much time does it take? Completing 5 turns every minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it takes 1 minute for it. So what is the period of motion? Very easy to find. Given We know the radius. The radius is given to be 15 meter. The number of revolution n is 5. Time taken t is 5 minutes. Sorry, every minute, 1 minute. 1 minute is not SI unit. 60 seconds. So therefore, A, what is the period? Total time taken divided by number of turns. Total is 60 seconds divided by 5. So therefore, 5 ones are 5 12s are. So period of revolution is 12 seconds. So that means for one revolution it takes 12 seconds. B, we have to find the centripetal acceleration at the top. Of course, centripetal acceleration at the top is down. We shall call this point A. We shall call this point B. At the lowest point, the centripetal acceleration is always towards the center of the circle. In this case, center of the Ferris wheel. So, the direction is down. B. Answer is downward for B. And what is the magnitude? C. Magnitude at the topmost point A is V square divided by R. But we don't know V. We don't have to. Because we know the expression for the centripetal acceleration in terms of period, which is 4 pi square divided by t square times R. 4 pi square, 4 times 3.14 square divided by t square, that is 12 squared times 15. Okay, this is equal to 4 pi square r divided by t square, which is equal to 4 multiplied by 3.14 the whole square divided by 12 square multiplied by r. R is given to be 15 meter, 15. So use your simple calculator. You are allowed to use simple calculator. You get 4.1 meter per second square. So rest of the units, digits are there. You can cut them off. So then what about the answer for D, magnitude? What is the magnitude of the acceleration at the lowest point? I have told you at all points acceleration is same because the speed is same, or 4 pi square divided by t squared into r. T is constant, r is constant, so magnitude is also constant. But the only thing is acceleration at the point B, is upward. Here it is downward. So the magnitude is still 4.1 meter per second square, and E, the direction is upwards, vertically upwards. So here I finish the concept of circular motion, uniform circular motion, the different concepts like angular speed, period of revolution, frequency of revolution, the derivation of centripetal acceleration, and mentioning of the expression of centripetal acceleration in variety of forms. And I have also done 2 to 3 problems. I hope that this will enable you to understand the concepts well, and it will also help you to link this concept to the next coming concepts under dynamics of circular motion under laws of motion chapter. Thank you one and all. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.